so I wanted to read an email that I actually received from a parent. I don't know what to do anymore, so I figured I'd reach out. I've watched hundreds of videos, but just don't know what to do. My adult child has been living in our home for a while, says they're job hunting, but don't see much evidence of that. Most days are spent in their room or on their phone, and it feels like my spouse and I are carrying everything. The phone bill, the groceries, the internet, basically all of it. Whenever we try to bring it up, we get shut down and met with defensiveness. We're walking on eggshells in our own home. I know kicking him out isn't the answer, and I don't want to wreck our relationship. I love my kid, but I also don't want them to wake up 5 years from now and be stuck in the exact same spot. How do you set boundaries without it turning into a huge blow-up every time? I want to help, but I'm starting to wonder, what if what we're doing is actually making things worse? So that's interesting. So I'm assuming that the age is between probably 18 and 24, and they are struggling because what they're finding is they're actually not getting any buy-in or accountability or responsibility at home. So they're walking around in eggshells. More than likely, they're covering all the bills except for maybe the fun money that maybe he goes out and gets. So if he's secluded in his room, there's an issue maybe as far as anxiety or something else. But you do need to start shifting some of that adult responsibility over to the young adult. You're also carrying all the bills, so you're over time telling them that it's okay to keep doing this. So you're walking around in eggshells and you don't want confrontation, but yet they don't know any different. So you do have to start shifting those things around. The first thing I would probably do is I would give a 2-week variance. And this 2 weeks is I'm no longer going to be listening to anything that you say. I'm only going to be, I guess, judging by your actions over the next 2 weeks. What activity are you actually doing to move yourself forward? Because we need to start paying rent. You need to start covering your own bills. So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to then assess what we have to either take away or what we're going to continue to support. If they don't have any activity, you've got to have something that you are going to eliminate at the end of those 2 weeks. Now, here's the thing that a lot of parents get caught in is the trap of the cell phone. The cell phone is a big deal for a couple reasons. One, they need it as a lifeline. They still need it to go get a job, but if they're not hunting for a job, then why do they need it? The truth is, you can have the phone. I'm not paying for the service anymore. If you need to go set up a Google number, and if you need to reach out and do iTexting and iMessaging and FaceTime calls, that's fine. But I'm no longer carrying that, and we're going to take that away after the 2 weeks. If we no longer see activity in the next week, well, then the Wi-Fi password is going to change. It's really simple. It's just hard to do. And the reason it's hard to do is because you don't give yourself permission to set those boundaries. You're scared of the confrontation, and I totally understand that because I was too. It isn't easy. And I don't want to be one of those people that just says, you just do this and it happens. I'm giving you permission to step back and give yourself that time to be able to set those boundaries in. You're probably going to have an argument. You're going to have pushback. And obviously, if it gets dangerous, you've got to call the right people to come in and take care of that. But hopefully, it's just more resistance than anything. Just be ready. And the most important minute you have is 12:01 a.m. on the day that you are going to take away whatever it is that you take away. So I've had to get so low on taking stuff away to get somebody to engage and realize it is up to them, right? They're an adult. You're carrying their responsibilities. Auto insurance, cell phone, health insurance, Wi-Fi, you name it, food, everything. If you don't start stepping in and removing those comforts, and they don't start realizing that they have to step up to take care of it because they are at that stage in their life now, then you do have to start taking it away. And we kind of have this odd thought process that responsibility does fall on us because we're their parent. We've ultimately tried to take care of our kids because we don't want them to do without. It ends up turning into kind of this process. Now, the fears might be greater than you realize, but I would suggest really trying to push towards a full conversation as an adult. So if you want to come out and talk about what's holding you back, I am here to help support you, but I'm going to watch you over the next 2 weeks, and whatever those activities show me is what's going to gauge what I'm going to leave as a privilege for you. I'm here to support you. And I've said it in a couple of my other videos. I am 100% willing to support a young adult who is trying to get on their feet and make something of themselves. I will not carry the responsibility of an adult that I am supporting. Those are two very different things. And as a parent, you really have to be willing to draw those lines, because if you're not going to draw those lines, then you have to expect that tomorrow's going to be the same thing. So if that 12:01 a.m. minute hits in 2 weeks from now, and you do not either shut off that cell phone or do not shut off the Wi-Fi, you have to expect the same thing tomorrow. And that's the hard part. So I would Take that off your plate. Just know you're not going to make a single change for 2 weeks. All you're going to do is observe. I'm not going to come at you anymore asking you if you've gotten a job, how many applications did you do today, did you clean your room, is it full of dishes? You're not going to do any of that. You get to take a vacation for a minute, and you don't have to worry about what's happening in that room. You want to hope that he or she is willing to come out and talk to you. And if they do, maybe there'll be some they'll open up about things that maybe they have been struggling with. And you can actually help them with that. Sometimes it is baby steps, but you have to take the pressure away too. So by them knowing you're not going to be coming after them every day, let them know, I have no expectation other than what you show me in your activity. And if you want to talk and have an adult conversation, then I'm here for you. And we can step through that process together. Otherwise, you kind of have to come to that moment of creating your own boundary. And it's a rough one. I don't envy any parent that has to do it. I've had to do it a couple of times. Thankfully, it's worked out every time. But I've also had some moments where it's taken all the way to the extreme. And I hate that. But I also have to realize that I'm not helping them if I don't start to make changes. I'm not trying to be, I guess vindictive or rude or mean. They are adults. If they are an adult, they are responsible for themselves, and they cannot expect for you to be responsible for them forever. That's an irrational decision, and you have to start kind of creating your boundaries now. A lot of parents, like I said in the last video, have had to literally postpone retirement plans because they've had to use that money by reducing maybe their 401k or the Roth contributions to start taking care of that overhead. And there is an additional cost with having that body in the house that's different than a child. And we're given manuals to deal with kids. We're given manuals on how to eat your vegetables and how to potty train. We are not given manuals on how to deal with a 23-year-old that's sitting up in the room playing video games, avoiding any responsibility inside of a house while everybody else pays for that and carries that responsibility for them. We have to be better for them, which means that we also have to start drawing those boundaries. And it is a tough one. But that would be my suggestion, is to start with one thing, say it up front, have a very clear expectation of what's going to happen and what you expect in those 2 weeks, and then give yourself a vacation of having to stress about it. You're no longer going to be on them about what they do. The only thing you're going to see is proof and activity and actions. That's it. And if they don't follow through, then in another week you're going to do something else, and maybe at that point it is the Wi-Fi. And then maybe there comes the part where I've had to get so increasingly challenging where I wasn't providing everything in the kitchen anymore. They had the basics, which is what I had to do. They had peanut butter and jelly, and they had a bag of rice, and they had beans, and that was it. And it wasn't about punishment. It's about understanding the fact that you have to be responsible for yourself. It's a tough one. It really is. And I'm sure I'm going to be made out to be a villain because I said that. But the truth is, the positive aspect that ended up turning around and that child taking on the responsibility was immense, absolutely huge. And we're really close now, and they don't hate me for it. They've actually thanked me for it. I hope the same thing happens for you. So if you are that parent, I hope that you see this, and I hope that you're able to kind of give yourself permission to be able to do the right thing and the best thing for your child and for you, because that stress is a really hard stress to live with. But give yourself a break until that 12:01 a.m. minute, and give yourself a break from now till then of stressing about what they're not doing. Let them not do their stuff. You don't have to carry that too. And I guess I would say this whole platform, it only works if there's an us. And the only way that there's an us is if you guys are part of it. So I appreciate everybody that is joining on board with it. And I think it only helps all of us. But I would like for you to be part of us.